Welcome to Kitco News. I'm Niels Christensen, and welcome back to our special coverage of the Mines and Money Online Connect Virtual Mining Conference. Today we're talking silver with Jim McDonald, CEO of Kootenay Silver. Jim, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks. It's great to be here.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Kootenay Silver. You guys have a big footprint in Mexico. Tell us a little bit about your projects.
Yeah, that's right. We're quite focused in Mexico. All our principal projects are there. We have 3 different deposits. 2 of them have resource calculations on them, totaling over 144 million ounces silver equivalent in the M&I, and about another 24 million ounces in the inferred categories. And then the 3rd deposit we don't have an estimate on yet, but we're looking at advancing that to a maiden estimate. And we've been down there in Mexico exploring for over 10 years. In the last 5 or 6 years of downturn here, we took the opportunity in the last 3 years or 2.5 years to get into some high-grade, untested vein projects in Mexico. One called Columba, and the other called Copalito, which we're drilling now as we speak. Colombo, our first drill program there, was last year with great results, repeating historic records. Looks very promising. And Copalito, we're just into the very first program on that high-grade vein system there. So that's what we're up to. And this is all backed by our resource base at the same time. So timing is turning out to be pretty good with the silver market turning the way it is. We've been waiting a long time for it to break that major psychological $20 barrier, and saw that working its way toward there for some time. And personally, I think maybe like a lot of people, I was quite surprised how strongly it broke through. So that's quite remarkable.
You're answering all my questions before I get a chance to ask them.
Oh, shoot.
No. Because I wanted to ask you about sentiment. I mean, we are seeing silver prices move up. You guys actually just announced a closing of $7 million. You raised $7 million in private placements. Again, Eric Sprott, he was part of that. He's been a big part of Kootenay Silver. But I just wanted to get to, raising money now versus raising money 2 or 3 years ago. How has sentiment changed? And is a lot of that to do with the rally that we've seen in silver prices?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the rally we've seen in silver prices, and not just silver, but gold and what's happened. We saw the gold market actually turn from a bear to a bull trend way back in 2016, but silver failed at that point. It did spike, but it actually didn't turn. So to give you a little flavor for the contrast between the current environment we're in now in terms of raising money for junior exploration companies and where we were, let's say, 5 years ago. 5 years ago, we made our La Negra drill discovery. And we were trading, I think, at about 25 cents. We put out a hole of 200 meters from surface of 156 gram per ton silver, including 50 meters of 420 grams per ton. Our stock went all the way to 35 cents. And we had to pull teeth to raise a couple $1 million more to continue drilling. Absolutely incredible. Fast forward to today, and we announced our financing in the morning, and the book was closed about an hour later on 5 million, and we upsized it to 7. So very, very different environment.
Well, and not only that, but at the start of the year, you made the TSX Venture 50, one of the top performing companies in a sector. So I mean, it's I guess what's the secret sauce then for Kootenay Silver?
Well, we're very focused, disciplined in our exploration. We look for opportunities. We're aggressive in taking advantage of opportunities when they arise, even in very poor markets. You have to seize on good properties when you have the opportunity, because they're very, very rare. And Columbus certainly turned out to be one of those key acquisitions. La Higuera was in 2016, and we've had to struggle for 4 years with La Higuera because it's an 85 gram average, and at $17, $18 silver, it just doesn't quite work. But now it looks very, very interesting. So that's one aspect of it. We're pretty well known generally in the investment community for a silver explorer. We do a fair bit of marketing. We're quite consistent at that. But really, it's the expertise on the ground and at the board level. Our board and management team has experience right from grassroots discovery to building mines, financing the build, and operating the mines. So, as a junior company, we're very well-rounded expertise and great explorers and discoverers on the ground.
So you're having really good results at Columba. So the $7 million that you've raised, what are your plans for that then? Is it just continue to put it into the ground? Are there other areas that you want to develop?
Yeah, well, it's going to leave us with quite a strong balance sheet exiting the year, which is what position we want to be in. It's also going to allow us to expand the drill program at Columba and at Copelito and be a little more aggressive there. And so that's where the primary purpose for raising that money was to keep drilling. It also, with this silver price and seeing it looks like it's going to be sustained for some time, is going to allow us to think about doing a resource estimate at La Negra, for example, which actually, because all the drilling's been done, would be relatively low cost. And we've been doing quite a bit of work in the last 4 months, remodeling the La Higuera deposit, looking at the structures there, learning what controls the high-grade occurrences. And so we'll advance that program as well, because if we're successful in unlocking that key, if it does indeed exist, then we may be able to go into that project and turn it into a much different looking project with higher grades and building ounces on it. So those are basically the top things that we're looking at right now.
So a fairly full calendar. How has the COVID-19 pandemic impacted your exploration? I mean, we sort of saw Mexico surprise markets shut down, all mining activity and stuff like that. So, I mean, are you sort of behind the 8 ball with your programs, or, are you where you want to be?
Well, we're 2 months behind where we would have been because that was the period of shutdown for the mining industry. Since they've opened it up, we haven't had any more delays. Very stringent protocols being practiced at site. Case of Columba, we have an isolated camp in the mountaintop there, so we're not in a town. It's easier to control as long as we're very careful. There's cleaning and distancing and all those protocols being followed very seriously. And then in the case of Copelito, similar there, we're in a remote location, but in a village. So we have to be even more careful. In that case, we've held meetings to help educate the local people on what to be doing. We've posted bulletins around the town describing what to do, how to wash your hands, clean, etc., and provided some what they call pantries down there, some food goods for the families, and cleaning, more particularly to this case, cleaning supplies to be able to practice those things. Since the restart, we haven't had any more delays, but it is kind of strange not being able to freely go down to site and be hands-on and see things firsthand. So it's a lot more of this type of thing, a lot more on the phone and computer and these web-based meetings. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but we're drilling and progressing.
This has been a fantastic conversation. I just wanted to get your thoughts on silver price. We saw gold hit an all-time high earlier this month. Do you think it's only a matter of time before we see silver hit that all-time high, above 50, or is that maybe a little out of reach?
I don't think it's out of reach at all. I firmly believe it's going to happen. I don't know what the timing is going to be, and I think it's going to overshoot that old price, and maybe by quite a bit. The primary things in my belief of what's driving this is the massive amount of printing that's going on. We already seen that the gold market was turning early in the year, gaining momentum, and this has just poured fuel on the fire, so to speak. And then finally, silver has broke that about a 6-year bear market and is on the uptrend. And when those gold ratios get back to even a median, silver is going to be a lot higher than it is now. And so it touched in March, I think, an all-time high, the gold to silver ratio of about 125, when the median line is down around between 50 and 60. And on the other end of the spectrum, it gets down to below 30, 25. So imagine that kind of ratio and what the silver price would be. It would be close to $100 today. So that's the kind of thing that is possible. Now, how it plays out, you can't really predict with any certainty. This is just a prediction. So
you can be right on price and direction, or you can be right on time. You can't do both. That's the saying I've heard.
Yeah, that's true. In my experience, that's very, very true. Can't be right in both. We know that's the setup. That for over a year now, we've been watching that silver price, expecting it to break out finally, and it did. And it did in a manner much stronger and more quickly than anybody I talked to anticipated. That's for sure.
Well, I do kind of wonder, when you look at the silver market, because so much is industrial, I do wonder if that weak economic growth is going to halt sort of this momentum that we've seen in silver. And I guess it's a question of what is a bigger driver? Is it weak economic growth or unprecedented money printing? I think that's sort of the tug of war that we're going to see with the silver market. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Well, silver is interesting because it's got that dual dynamic of industrial metal and a currency. Gold is primarily a currency, and that's why gold always leads in terms of bull markets. However, right now what we're beginning to see is silver start to trade like a currency as well. And so that's, I believe, is going to be the overriding factor here in driving the silver price, not the economy. And that currency factor will override the economy factor. Years ago, many years ago now, I had an investor from London, England, who is known locally as Hi-Ho Silver because he's such a silver bull, come down to a mine that we were operating at the time in Mexico. And we had a 2.5-hour car drive. We were talking about the silver and gold market, and I was asking him why he was so keen in silver. And all the reasons he gave me were the ones that you would give for being bullish on gold. So I asked him, why silver then? Why not gold? And his answer was because silver's got this great industrial demand. So if I'm wrong about the macroeconomics and the currency side, at least I'm protected on the industrial demand side. So that's very true.
Jim, thank you very much for this. This has been a fantastic conversation. I thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for watching Kitco News. For the latest in the precious metals markets, go to kitco.com. Stay safe and stay healthy.